Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I'm here with Nandor Fox Schaefer. I'm sure that's not your real name, huh? Nandor Fox.
It is. No, no. A lot of people don't believe it, but it is my real name.
Oh, really? I thought you were being
Yeah.
silly. No, really?
No,
Okay.
no. Yeah. I mean, it's a name I'm very proud about. But my first name, Nandor, it's Hungarian, and then my middle name is Fox. My parents were huge X-Files fans, so they loved Fox Mulder, and
Oh,
yeah. So and Schaefer is Schaefer, but yeah, no, it's one of those that one of those names that takes people by surprise, and it's only until recently on the Hulu show What We Do in the Shadows where people actually have heard of the name Nandor before. So
yeah.
it's
I thought
like,
maybe you were from Middle Earth or something.
yeah, right. Yeah, no, it definitely it fits well. It's connected to Ferdinand, and it means like adventurer, traveler. So
Cool.
I feel like I definitely have a traveling spirit. Like I like to go places, but I like to travel a lot in my stories. So I feel like I can kind of make it make sense that way.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. All right. So first off, I got to put the obligatory. This is the link to my comic that's currently on Fund My Comic right now. We're just under 4,000, just under the second stretch goal, and for
Very
each
cool.
thousand after that.
Congratulations.
Oh,
That's
thank you,
awesome.
thank you. For each thousand after that, I'm gonna hit. We're gonna unlock another card, and I just realized that there's another character in the book that I didn't put in as a card. So I have a secret stretch goal 9,000. I'll unlock the last card, and I think everybody will be a little surprised. I'll leave it at that. And here's your link tree. What if I click on this? Where does that take me? I mean, I know it takes.
Yes. Yeah, so when you click on that, for anyone who might be watching or listening the replay, like when you click on that link, it takes you to all of my like campaigns that I currently have going, or like my sign up pages for different books that I have in the works, and then it has like my Twitter and my newsletter, and all my social media stuff. So it does have the Fabled Offering campaign, which is on Indiegogo right now, which is what I'm really trying to push people towards. So that's the first thing that you'll see when you click on that link for sure.
Okay, so you have an active campaign going right now.
I do, yeah. So the Fabled Offering, and I can share it with you really quickly.
For sure.
This is the campaign that I had launched a Kickstarter for it last year, and it was successful. We raised over $5,000. It was
Guys.
5175, and uh, I wanted to. We were getting to the end of production, and I wanted to, before fulfillment. I was like, okay, I want to bring this to Indiegogo and give people a second chance to tag along on this book before we get everything fulfilled and all of that. So right now the book is currently getting lettered, and we're going to be sending it to the printer hopefully by the end of this week or early next week at the latest. And I'm very, very excited about it. This has been something that I've been working on. I mean, I wrote it like 2 or so years ago, and we've been working on the art for a while, and just kind of getting everything together. So it's been a long process. It takes a long time to
Oh
make
yeah, tell me
comics.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. I can't believe how long it takes sometimes, and just the different things you have to account for. And I mean, especially when you get to the lettered stage, and when you're lettering the book and you're kind of going through the script again, and you're making sure everything looks right and reads right and all that kind of stuff. That's really where the rubber meets the road, because you finally have to realize, well, shoot, like after this, it's done, and it has to be right, because otherwise, you know, you can't take anything back. Nothing's in production anymore. It's finalized when you send it to the printer. So, yeah, this is a 46-page sci-fi fantasy one shot that is about Grand Princess Aurelia, who is this warrior princess who's on a quest to save herself and her kingdom from her own past trauma. It's a character study about someone who is faced with impossible choices, and how they come out on the other side of that. It's for fans of comics like Seven to Eternity, or movies or series such as Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. It's definitely very much inspired by my own love for the genres and doing like a genre mashup. And it's a complete story. So if you've never read any of my other books or you've never heard of me before, this is a great way to kind of get to learn what can Nandor do. What's who is this guy? And you get a complete emotional arc. That's what I say. It's kind of a story within a story. There's this big kind of um, I would say overarching kind of fantasy epic story going on, but at the same time
I,
that's including-
with a name like Nandor, this is exactly what I expected. You know,
yeah, no,
I get a little embarrassed because I like to promote people. I like to talk to people about their comments. So when I see a project that I didn't know anything about that looks awesome, I'm like, oh man. So I didn't back this, but I'm gonna back this right now. This looks awesome.
Thank you.
I really
Thank
like
you.
this guy's got a eyeball in his mouth.
Yeah. So that's Sizen. That is the so Aurelia, she's on this quest and she is trying to get to Mount Gephyra, and on Mount Gephyra is Sizen. Sizen and his ship. It's an annual thing where he comes down. He's a deity, and he comes down to meet with the people. And it's not guaranteed that you'll be able to be welcome in his presence or not. But you bring an offering to Sizen, and it's like a negotiation. You bring something for him so that he can do something for you, and that is kind of the whole motivation, the whole push for Aurelia. And the mystery is like, okay, what is she bringing? Why is she alone on this journey? Why is she pregnant? She's a pregnant princess
Yeah,
who has
that just
totally
makes it a little bit more.
the stakes are raised, right?
Yeah.
So
Like,
um,
you've seen Fargo, right?
yes,
Yeah, with the pregnant woman cop, you're just like, oh my god, does she have to be pregnant?
yeah. I know. It makes everything just a little bit more hair raising.
Gordon,
Hey, Gordon.
has anyone ever started comic convention Kickstarter? I'd like to get some. No, but I did board game conventions just locally with my friends. I wouldn't even know how to begin.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, it's it just adds another level of complexity to her character, and also what she's just at the outset of the story. Her kingdom, which is called Telendius, they have just won a war against this race called the Macmol, and they're in a time of peace right now. But Aurelia, she's been fighting for so long, she doesn't really know what to do with herself anymore, and so she's kind of lost in her own world, and she's searching for her own purpose. And that is kind of just where we begin to see her, and then we follow her along this journey and find out about her motivations for wanting to meet Sizen, who is that guy with the eyeball in his mouth who doesn't really look like a very nice person. It's like this guy, like, is he an ally?
I don't judge people for having eyeballs in their mouth.
Yeah. And so, like, what's so cool about him, and it's one of the pages. If you want to scroll down really quickly to one of
No
the
problem, I like to help people, but if I don't know the information, I'm not going to make up something. Oh, you want me to scroll down? Is that what you said?
Sure.
I want to ask you this: are you the artist also?
I am not. I'm just the writer. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
I really like this art. Like this
yeah.
right here is beautiful.
Yeah, that image right there. So that is a splash page, and by the interior artist Marco Roblin. He does all of the interiors. He does the pencils, inks, and colors. He's an amazing, masterful artist. I love working with him. I think out of all the collaborators that I've had, he has been not only the most passionate, but just one of the most fun people to work with that I've had the pleasure of working with.
This looks like it's like 70s like Epic Illustrated and
like heavy metal stuff.
Yeah, heavy metal. That's exactly what I was thinking of, and I just
and so what's so cool about Sizen and this character is that he represents he's the time deity or the time ancient. So deities in this world are called the ancients, and he represents the past, present, and future. So you see his three different faces, and what's so cool about the character is that he's looking at, like, when we see him in the story, he's looking at things not only from the present tense, he's looking at things from the past tense, from the future tense. And as a deity, you would be all knowing, you would be able to kind of see where things are going. And so he's a really fun character. And it's a really like he's really inspired by kind of looking at just how to create a very like intimidating character, someone who you could look at and you're like, okay, like what's his deal, and what does Aurelia need to meet him. And so there's a lot of context, a lot of kind of mysteries and secrets within this story about how the world functions. And it was one of the best parts about doing all the world building for the story. But at the heart of it, it really is a character's journey. It's a singular character story about Aurelia. But there's just a lot of what I think to be fun and engaging and kind of great mystery to kind of the way the world works and what she has to go through. So
This looks really good, man.
Um,
Josh, you wrote a comic about me.
yes. So I wanted to mention that if this is the first time you've heard of me, what's so great about this campaign? It is a second chance campaign, so the book has been all the art's done. It's already been funded on Kickstarter, so everything that we get from this campaign is extra. But you can get all of my previous stories and all my previous books
I think
on
that's
this
such a good
campaign.
idea.
And you can also get stretch goals. So we've unlocked the chibi sticker of Aurelia, and we've also unlocked this trading card for Aurelia as well. So all backers will get both of these. And we're hoping to hit the 2,500 stretch goal, which we can get the Ancient Sizen trading card. And then if we hit 3,500, every backer is going to get a black and white edition of the book. So I'm really excited about that one. I think that would be amazing to see Marco's inks alongside his colors. But it's just a 3-man team. It's just myself, the writer creator. I work with Marco Roblin on the art, and then DC Hopkins is the letterer. So we're a three-man
What is
army.
this card for? This looks like a card game.
Yeah, so I don't have an entire card game fleshed out for the book. It kind of depended on how many we could unlock and what we could do with it, but I definitely have some ideas. So like the more cards we can unlock, the more I would like to flesh that out more. But right now is kind of just as a collector's item for people. But what's so great about this story is that even though it is a one shot, there definitely is room for expansion. This is one of the few stories that I've made where I didn't have like a huge ongoing series in mind or like a limited series in mind. I just wanted to do a one shot. But the cool thing about the story is that if people enjoy it, if people want more, there's definitely room to grow. And so with that, I would love to grow, trading card game. I'd love to do like, D&D type of stuff or whatever we could do, maybe like an RPG book for it. There's a lot of things that I would love to do, but it just depends on, hopefully people will
Yeah,
this will resonate with them
too, but it all depends on do people want it,
Yeah. You don't want to put the cart before the horse, right?
Right. And I see you have 4 different covers.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just gonna pick your brain a little bit because I also have 4 covers for my comic.
Yeah.
The regular cover, Renzo Rodriguez, and then on Fund My Comic exclusive with Pat Broderick, and then when I go to I'm going to ask you another question because I'm not sure, because I want to go to Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I don't know if I should go to Kickstarter next and then Indiegogo or the other way around.
Right.
But each platform is going to have their own cover. Give you a reason to check out the campaign again. Do you feel that varied covers are worth it? Everybody says yes. Me, I don't like varied covers, but you got to do what the customer wants. So, what's your thoughts? Has it been successful?
It has been. I think the best part about having variant covers is that, and the way that you're doing it, I think it can be really beneficial too, because basically what you're saying is this cover is exclusive to this platform and you can't get it anywhere else, and that just kind of adds a little bit more incentive on top of already having like maybe a limited run of a cover that you would be printing. So I think that's a plus, but it makes the customer feel like they're getting something special that they can't get anywhere else. But
right.
the on top of that, what makes variant covers so great is the idea that, by getting another artist on your book, you're potentially getting their fan base to look at your book because maybe they're a fan of that artist and they want to collect what that artist does. And so what I've run into many times is people would have never checked out my story or never looked at my book if not for the name that was attached to that
Oh,
variant
that's a good
cover.
point. That's a good.
Yeah. So basically, you're kind of what the goal I think in the end is to bring that artist's particular fan base to.
Marcus is busting my chops because whenever anybody mentions Dungeons and Dragons, I'll talk to you for the next 40 minutes about this. I'll spare you unless you want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it was bound to come up, right? But yeah,
I gotta ask, are you a D&D player?
I've only dabbled in it. I've never done like a full
You're a
campaign. Yeah. I've never been able to like find a group of friends in my area to like actually sit down and do a full campaign.
And the older you get, the harder it is. Now, were you the players or the DM?
Oh, the players. Yeah, okay. One of the players. Yeah.
It is impossible. It's matter of fact.
Yeah.
I got people in my neighborhood now. Like, when are we playing again? When are we playing again?
Well, that's a good problem. That's a good problem.
I just got one friend that we're all in our 50s now. One of my friends just had a heart surgery. Another friend just had a hip surgery. And then I launched my campaign, so I've been doing stuff all weekend, like promoting.
Right.
But we have the opposite. Let's all get together. Rather than like I can't find him. But anyway, that's enough D&D. Marcus, that's your fault. I see you have a trailer. Is it okay if I play the trailer?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're more than welcome to. It's only about a minute.
Fabled Offering returns.
I hit the button while you were talking.
It's okay. You're good. I was just gonna say it's a short video, so it works.
Okay, I'm gonna hit play.
The Fabled Offering returns for a second chance campaign on Indiegogo. If you weren't able to support the Kickstarter, want to snag one of the variant covers, or just help unlock some stretch goals, now's the time. Fabled Offering is a 44-page sci-fi fantasy one-shot epic about a lone princess on a harrowing quest to save herself and her kingdom. Attempting to reach the peak of Gafira Mountain while carrying her unborn child, Grand Princess Aurelia will stop at nothing to meet the ancient Sizen aboard their starship, the Aegis. Will Sizen accept her offering? This book was made for fans of Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Seven to Eternity, Dune, and Dungeons & Dragons. The Fabled Offering is a mature tale about trauma, sacrifice, and the power of choice in the face of fate and destiny. I'm Nador Fox Schaefer, the writer and creator of The Fabled Offering, along with artists Marco Roblin and letterer DC Hopkins. The book is about to be sent to the printers, and we're planning on all packages to be delivered by June 2024. Since the book is nearly done, the Second Chance campaign is solely to reach new audiences and to see how many stretch goals we can unlock before fulfillment, so there's no risk involved. We guarantee that you will get your book in a timely manner. Will you join Aurelia on her quest? The Fabled Offering now beckons you.
Cool. I got two things to say about that I really like. First off, this is a complete story in one campaign.
Yes.
I mean, one comic. Excuse me.
Yes, it's a 46-page one shot. So you get to see Aurelia from beginning, middle, and end have a complete emotional arc. And I did say, as we were talking, that there's definitely room for more. And I hope that by the time people get to the final page, they'll be like, Nador, like I want more. Like this is something I want to see followed through. But it's a fable. It's kind of my way of doing something a little bit differently from anything else that I'd done before. And it's a moral fable more than anything. And so I wanted to do something kind of short and sweet, but also hopefully people would find to be very profound at the same time.
Yeah, I do like all these covers.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad people are having a hard time.
Yeah, that's a good problem.
Yeah. Well,
it's Gordon. Good. He says he's having trouble. You're allowed to get more than one cover. Right?
That's right. Yes, all the covers.
Not going to be upset.
All the covers are add-ons. So if you get one cover and you want to get another one, the cool thing about
I will be back in this, but after we're not live. People don't.
Yeah. The cool thing about Ricardo Latina's cover is that it's the only cover that shows Aurelia's horse, Anovicus, and it's a cyber horse, which is really cool. So if you want the Cyber Horse, that's the cover that I recommend. But if I know Ariel Murty's cover, the one that you said is your favorite. That one, yeah, that one is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean,
Yeah.
I love. There's definitely a story behind that one too. Whereas Aurelia and Sizen, like, are they working in tandem together? Are they working against each other? It looks like they're fighting side by side, but what is kind of going on there? And so I love kind of adding, every cover in some sense. I think the best covers, have a story to tell in one image, and so that's one of those where I always look at it and I go, that has me interested.
I don't know. See. Oh, I thought I could make it big if I. Oh no, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's okay. It's on the campaign page if you want to scroll
I was
down.
I was gonna make it big. To me, I just like it because I'm a superhero guy, and this looks like the most superhero-y,
Yeah. No,
but
totally.
Like I said, this looks like a lot like the 70s, like epic and heavy metal and the oversized magazines that really you don't really see too much anymore. I mean, this is gonna sound mean, but it's not. It's meant as a compliment. The art is like wonderfully old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Like modern comics, because how I'm not really a big fan of modern. I keep coming back to this image. This, believe it or not, looks like a I can't think of the artist's name, but I could picture his art, but I could see this in like an old Doctor Strange, Gene Colan or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you. I mean, it has like a psychedelic, almost transcendent kind of vibe to it. Like it feels alien. And that's kind of always what I.
Is really good.
Yeah. And so like Marco, he's from Chile, and I think he brings a lot of his European influence, into the art, which is something that I really wanted. I really wanted this book to feel unique. You can't always say this, but this is one of those books where I feel like you look at it and you don't see very many things like this out there anymore, like you were saying. And even in crowdfunding, Marco's style is very unique and it's very detailed, but also
that's the name I couldn't remember.
Oh yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz. Yeah.
Thank you. That's the name I couldn't remember. Yep. Everybody.
Everyone's piling on now. Well, I will tell him that because he is a huge Marco loves him, and he loves a lot of the 70s and 80s artists, and he's a huge fan of people like John Paul Leon and some of the more I'd say like almost abstract artists as well, so he really appreciates all of that. I actually met him through another book that he was working on, and I was like, man, like we have to work together, we have to do something together. And when I sent him the script for this, he was head over heels for it, and he's begging me for more. So it's been
I think it's a great idea that it's a complete story. Like that, my comic, I want every issue to be a complete story. I want people to be satisfied,
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't think I'm being mean when I say crowdfunding is vastly unpredictable. One guy can make one comic a year, another guy can make a comic every 3 years, another guy can make comics every couple of months.
Yeah.
And my comic, I'm working on my first comic. It took me a while, but I didn't know what I was doing. I hired some of the wrong people. I hired the right people. So I didn't think it was a good idea to make a comic and then make people wait for a conclusion. So
yeah,
I appreciate that I'm going to spend $14 to $20 for a comic and get a full story.
Yes.
And if it does well, you'll make another story. And I think that's the way to go with indie crowdfunding comics. Get whatever word you want to use, comics. We're not Marvel and DC. We don't have an apparatus to help us make a comic every month.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're really kind of beholden to, unfortunately, your own means, and how successful your own books are. You don't have anything else back to fall on. It's like we can say we want to do 6 issues, but we don't know if we'll be able to because, it just depends. And with Marvel and DC, it's like, well, if it's 6 issues, it's going to be 6 issues because it's going to be solicited for that, and it, it makes
And
sense.
most likely it's done already.
Yeah, and in the retail space, that makes complete sense. But with crowdfunding, you really have to make sure that you're prepared. That's something that I've definitely struggled with. It's a big reason why I wanted to do this book in particular, because my other projects are series. They're mini series, but they're still series, and depending on if my artists are working on other things or how all of our schedules work out, it's never as consistent as I want it to be. And so with this book in particular, I thought, okay, I want to do something that no one has to worry about a follow-up. No one has to worry about issue 2 coming out. I hope that they want an issue 2, and I hope that people, are excited for more. But my goal for this was to have a complete arc for Aurelia and to show a beginning, middle, and end of
I think
what she was going through with this particular
this
journey.
Foxhole Comics bundle, that's all of your comics that you've done so far?
It is, yeah. So the Foxhole Comics bundle, it includes seasons volumes 1 and 2, which are both over 100 pages, hardcovers. The volume 1,
these are hardcovers.
Yeah, they are. The only thing though, volume 1 is currently sold out, so I can send a PDF of volume 1, but volume 2 is still available. And also Man-Child issues 1 and 2. Those are like 24-page floppies. And then Lifeline is an original graphic novel that's 96 pages to trade paperback. So you're getting over 350 or nearly 400 pages of comics for $125.
Cool. I like this coloring. It's old school. This panel right here, with the sword, I'm just gonna make this bigger. You can see that's like such old school, and to me, that's a compliment.
Yes.
The people in the background aren't individually colored. You could see this purple makes it stand out in the foreground. That's what's most important. I just think that is a lost art that we don't see too much anymore.
Yeah, and something that I will say Marco really prides himself in is like when you see a crowd scene like that. There's one in particular later in the issue that I don't have on the page here, but I was going over my latest lettering pass, and there was a crowd scene that he was struggling with because he was trying to figure out the best way to angle it and do all of these people. And I'm sure he hated me for it, but he had to actually go in for his own satisfaction, and he drew every single character. He didn't like take any shortcuts. He didn't do anything that would make it easier on himself, or just like doing shapes and stuff. He like drew everyone's faces, and it's a cool, beautiful scene. And this one in particular is another example of him trying to do that and trying to do a crowd scene, which is really that can be really difficult.
I really like this city ski.
Yeah, that's her kingdom. So that's Telindius right there, and you see the kind of the moons above, and it's so gorgeous. That's one of my favorite panels.
You see Gordon's asking all the European artists. I can't even read anymore. Are all the artists European?
Well, yeah. So Marco, he's the only artist on the book, and he's from Chile. So he's a Chilean artist, and he does all of it. He does the pencils, inks, and colors on this project. So he's a one-man army for sure.
That is cool. Yeah. Yeah, I really dig this. Like I said, I'll be backing as soon as I'm off screen. Nobody needs to know my information.
Your information. Yeah, so these are all the covers. What's great about Marco's cover, if you do decide you want cover A, which is the cheapest option, it is a wraparound cover, which is really cool. So I really love the wraparound if you want something kind of different. But then all of the other covers, are from amazing artists. Oh, I see Gordon's comment there. The cover artists, all of them are. Let me see. Cortez is Italian. Ario, I believe. I think he's European. Ricardo is as well. Will Playdon is Australian. So the one where you have Sizen in the background and Aurelia kneeling with her sword. That one was done by Will Playdon. He's an Australian artist. And then the final one is another Marco. His name is Marco Rudy, and he, I believe, resides in Canada. But I think he might be originally from the Philippines or something. I'm not 100% sure, but Marco Rudy actually worked on Swamp Thing for DC for the New 52, and he also did.
Yeah, I thought I recognized the name.
Yeah, he's done a lot of great stuff. He worked with Alice Cott on a Marvel Winter Soldier series as well, and that's where I fell in love with his work. He actually worked with me on a variant cover for Man-Child issue 2, and so I wanted to get him back on for this book because I absolutely love his art. A lot of these covers are traditionally painted. At least half of them are. So I actually own Will Playdon and Marco Rudy's original art for this.
Yeah.
Book, so.
Renzo, my artist, he said he's going to send me he started out drawing on pencils. So he's going to send me the first couple of pages, and then he switched to digital because he said he could just do it quicker.
Yeah, it's just faster. Yeah, and that's something that I definitely understand. Kind of the balance of trying to balance that. It's really difficult doing original artwork and hitting that deadline. But that's what I love. I prefer that. I love like traditional art, and it really, to me, I feel like you can tell the difference. And I mean, I think great artists, you wouldn't, it doesn't really matter. But there's something really special about seeing the pen and ink on the page and seeing that in person. Is just like kind of mind blowing. I'm like, oh my goodness, how do you do this?
Yeah, I wish I could draw.
I know. Wouldn't it be cheaper for us? Yeah. We could just draw our own comics.
I just hear when people talk about it, just seems so cool. Like they just seem to have so much fun. Like Renzo's always talking about how fun it was to draw this page and stuff.
Yeah.
My problem was I think I have a short attention span. I'd start drawing, and then once I'm done with the main figure, doing the details, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, you started on Kickstarter, correct?
Yes, I did. So I originally all of my books and my thing that I ever launched was in 2017 for my first graphic novel called One Spring. And I launched that on Kickstarter. And that was, really before I think crowdfunding became more of a household name for comic book creators. It was kind of the early stages of comics being crowdfunded. And since then, I gained a really good fan base from Kickstarter. And so I've launched all my projects initially on Kickstarter. And then in the last few campaigns that I've done, I've brought some my books over to Indiegogo for people that may have missed out on my previous campaigns or just prefer Indiegogo. For a while there, Kickstarter didn't have add-ons, and that was something that Indiegogo had that was really beneficial for people, and that you could kind of customize your order a lot more. But thankfully now I feel like Kickstarter and Indiegogo have kind of worked off each other and kind of watching what each other's doing and kind of playing to both strengths. But
yes.
Yeah, I think something about I think it's agreed upon ecosystem being discovered, people finding your work more naturally than Indiegogo, because sometimes Indiegogo you might get shadow banned, or it's harder to find things on there.
That was my fear. Like to do all this work and then get shadow banned, and then there's nobody you could talk to. So I debuted on Fund My Comic because
yes, I've seen more people use that. Yeah.
I trust Luke. I have his phone number. I had a problem and we worked it out within minutes, before I launched. So,
that's cool.
So I'm pretty loyal. And some people, again, I'm not trying to cause controversy. I'm not mentioning it. Some people told me I should have launched on Kickstarter first.
Mm-hmm.
Some people told me I should have went on Indiegogo first. And, so I'm exclusively on Fund My Comic with a particular cover. But, when that's over with, I will go to Indiegogo and I will go to Kickstarter, because I feel all the work is already done. And, I don't get it. But again, I don't understand lots of things. Some people are loyal to platforms.
They are, right.
You know what I mean? Like
right.
this, and I know that Fund My Comic is new, so therefore a couple of people don't trust it. Whatever. I guess I understand that. So I'll try the other two platforms, and like,
yeah, I really
cover exclusively for those two pep. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
you find, so this is a long way around to ask this question.
Yeah,
you find people on Indiegogo that won't touch Kickstarter and vice versa.
Yes, it is definitely true.
I don't understand that, but
yeah, I don't understand it either. I think a lot of people, they have an account set up with Kickstarter. They don't feel like making another account.
I never even thought of that.
Like they don't want to give
people in my family like, I got to create an account to buy your comic.
Yeah, and I've ran into that before. So I think
I didn't even think that. Okay, that just clarified a lot right then and there. Duh.
Yeah, I think that has a convenience. Everyone needs something very convenient to them, and having to make a new login or password or whatever, it's just inconvenient. And so people that already have accounts somewhere, it just makes it easier for them. I think a lot of people trust one platform over the other better, or they just find the user interface a lot easier to use. Some people just kind of are just kind of like, they have their own way of buying things, and they like the way they do it, and they may not like the other website. But I do think in this day and age where we have these different options, I think it's really I think it's unfortunate that people feel like they can't use everything at their disposal. You're basically leaving money on the table by not trying to take advantage of these platforms. Like we've nearly raised almost $1,500 on this Indiegogo campaign, and I could have just not had this on Indiegogo, and that's money that would have I missed out on. So I think it's important, don't burn yourself out. I had done a 30-day campaign on Kickstarter, and then I went to Indiegogo a month or two later. And you also want to make sure that the backers that have supported you first, they feel like they're getting something, they're being rewarded for their support and being there for you at the get-go, which I think is really important. It's important to take care of your backers and to, give them something special. So like something that I'm doing with this campaign is like, I'm going to be fulfilling my Kickstarter orders first, because those are the people that backed me at the beginning. And then I'll get to the Indiegogo orders, because it just, in terms of timeline. Yeah.
I'm of the same opinion as Gordon Goodbrother. I'll go where there's a good book. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Yeah. That's the thing.
I'm going to go get the better hamburger. You know what I mean?
Like if the book looks good, or if you like the creator, like I'll follow you anywhere. You know what I mean? Like why my only
problem was the political nonsense that Kickstarter did, booting a couple of people off because of the politics. That angered me. I'm not going to lie about that. But
right. I think that angered a lot of people, and I think that's definitely something that is a concern. I think a lot of people are feeling that way with Indiegogo now, with the shadow dating.
Indiegogo
so it's like, which one do you choose?
So I went with the one that I know is not going to mess with me, but it was also the least known. So like I said, my book is 90% done. I'm going to be printing up extras. So,
well, that's in your favor. I think having the book nearly done is really great. And I think, like I said, having those exclusive covers to each platform, I think is a really good idea as well, because it, like you said, it gets people to look at it again, and maybe they'll like that cover more, or they want to collect all of them, and that's really cool.
That's what I'm hoping. My coworker at work goes, I told my son that you're gonna have 2 extra covers, and he told me he has to get the extra covers.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's exciting, right?
With Kickstarter, you pledge and then the money comes out like 60 days later. Have you ever had any problems with like dropped pledges and things like that? Because I feel don't make it hard for people to give you your money. That's Indiegogo and Fund My Comic have the advantage of the money's gone. I don't have to worry about it. It's paid for. Just sit back and relax. Kickstarter, I'm a big board gamer, and sometimes I'll back an all-in pledge with all the bells and whistles on a board game, and it could be upwards of like $200. And then 3 months later or 6 weeks later, I'm like, you know what? I just don't have that $200 to waste on a game right now.
Right.
I feel bad for the people because they were counting, in their mind, they already got that money. And then all of a sudden a bunch of people, dropped pledges. Has that been a concern for you?
Yes. So that is definitely something that you have to keep in mind with Kickstarter. It doesn't, thankfully I haven't had any that's been like, detrimental to the campaign, or anything like that. But, sometimes in the last few days, which is kind of your spike period. So really any drop pledges aren't necessarily that, harmful to your campaign because hopefully you would have already funded, or in the last 3 days, you get your most supporters within the first 3 days and the last 3 days on Kickstarter. And so,
like every
it's just,
campaign, right?
Yeah, it's just the way it works.
My first weekend was explosion, and right now, I'll get like a drip trickle in, and it's exclusive.
Yeah, yeah, I hate it. I hate it so much. But yeah, so the thing to keep in mind when it comes to Kickstarter is that is the drop pledges. I think it's important for people, hopefully backers that are following you or have backed you before and know that you fulfill and that they can trust you. You won't run into that as much. But even after the campaign has been fulfilled, the campaign is closed on Kickstarter, and every backer has like a 7-day window. Like the funds will be pulled, but there might be some people who haven't updated their credit card information. Maybe their card got expired that month or whatever. And they have to fix that within those 7 days, or else they won't get their reward. They won't get whatever they backed. So, Kickstarter won't record their pledge as something that you can fulfill. So, that is definitely something that I think, it's just something to keep in mind and to make sure that you plan your goal accordingly for that, and so I think it's always great to have a buffer or a bumper for your goal where you might have 2 to 5% of a buffer in case people drop, or if they're not able to fix their credit card information in those 7 days, you'll still have enough money to print and ship your book and do everything that you wanted to do. But there's just one added extra thing that you have to think about when you're planning your funding goal and what your campaign can do. But with you having been on Fund My Comic and then going to these other platforms, hopefully you'll have the benefit of having a low goal, and that won't be something that you necessarily have to worry about anymore.
Yeah. So are you going to treat each platform as its own campaign, like your Kickstarter, print out your comics, ship them out, and then Indiegogo, or are you going to print out extra for your Kickstarter and then have them ready by the time Indiegogo finishes?
Yeah, so my goal for this campaign is I'll definitely print enough to have a full bulk shipment sent to me so that I can fulfill orders. But I think I'm going to, just for my own organizational skills, I'm going to go from one platform to the next. So that way I can be like, okay, all Kickstarter backers have been taken care of. Now let's go to Indiegogo.
Well, they were first. It's the right thing to do.
It is. And, I think the only thing that might hinder some of those backers is just I had a tier for an original sketch by Marco Roblin, so like those backers might get their reward a little bit later because Marco is finishing up those sketches or something. But that's really the only thing that would be kind of like later, or maybe at the same time I'm sending out Indiegogo packages. But I try to keep everything as organized and easy for me as possible. Thankfully, something Kickstarter has done, which is really cool on the kind of post-campaign side of things, they kind of give you checklists to work with. And so you can actually kind of mark when you have shipped that package out to that
Yeah,
customer
Fun My
or whatever?
Comic has a little like, it gives you all the information what they ordered, and then like you could just hit like a little check or a little.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's super nice because
yeah.
it can record how
That's my
much you
biggest fear.
fulfilled.
My
Yeah.
biggest fear is messing up, and sending people the wrong thing.
I know. Thankfully, this is my the failed offering was my 6th or 7th crowdfunding campaign, so I really feel like I've gotten it down to somewhat of a science. I do all the packages myself. I fulfill everything myself, and I make sure I just go one by one, and it's like one backer at a time. You just got to,
take
even
your
if
time.
yeah, you just got to take your time, and you have to make sure
I'm
that
picking
you're
your
just
brain because I'm going to be doing this, and
yeah,
and
no,
I hope
no.
I have the problem of filling out a large package. Filling
Yeah.
out a lot of package.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that time where I have to like kind of enlist my family or my friends and be like, okay, what can I, free
Yeah, I
pizza?
said,
Like,
my
can
wife will help me, and she goes, "I'm not.
yeah,
I had nothing to do with this."
yeah, I know. But the control freak in me is like, I don't want someone else messing up the packages. Like, I want to be responsible if I mess up. I
Right.
want to take
I plan on
responsibility for
doing a
that.
lot of campaigns, and I kind of want to do this one all on my own, everything, just so I could understand the problems, the
Yeah,
difficulties, and everything. And now,
definitely.
do you find people like your second campaign? Did you get more people like, okay, I trust this guy? He had one campaign before. Like, do you get a lot of repeat
Yes,
customers?
yeah. I've definitely accumulated like a loyal fan base and a following. So, the Fabled Offering in particular, that was my largest campaign in terms of backer count. Where for the Kickstarter, I had 197 backers, and for this Indiegogo campaign, we're at 47. So I've had nearly like 250 backers for this book, and in my previous campaigns they clocked in about like 120 to 150. So
Well, you probably got a bunch of new people because it's the IP looks so cool,
yeah, for sure. But
Nothing like Star Wars and Dune and everything
yeah, that's kind of the goal. My own business plan for me since I started making comics 6 or 7 years ago was I wanted, a diversified portfolio, so people could look at my work and go, oh, here's Supernatural. Seasons is a Supernatural series. Manchild is my kind of nostalgic superhero series. And then Lifeline is a drama, and Fabled Offering is, sci-fi fantasy. And so with every book that I've done, I've wanted to kind of give something new to people, and even people who've read my stuff before, maybe they're not a fan of sci-fi, but they'll take a chance on it because, I'm writing it. Or people that don't like any of my other stuff or don't like those genres, maybe they'll take a chance on my other books if they like the Fabled Offering. And then, so that's kind of something that I've wanted to do, and I've been kind of testing to see, I've heard in crowdfunding, I kind of like this comparison of like, there are two types of creators. One is, a horizontal creator where they have like a list of different books that they have going on or different series. And then you have like a vertical creator, which is just like focusing on one series in particular and building that IP and building that series and building that up. But I found myself to be in the first camp where I'm more concerned with showing my ability to be a writer, because that's what I want to do. And that's my goal, is to show that, I'm not just this guy. I don't just do this one book. I want to do more things. Cool. And I want to show, what I have to offer to people. And, because at the end of the day, this is what I want to do full time. I want to make comics, and I want to write comics, and I want to work with artists and make amazing art and amazing stories, and, maybe change your life. Like, that's always been something that, stories have been so powerful, and they've been so influential in my own life. And that's something that I hope to give back to people. And this is a story that I feel like if I did my job correctly, I hope we'll do that.
Do you now? I assume you overprint, so you have extra copies at the end of the campaign for
Yes, sure do. I do signings and conventions and stuff, so I always like to have an overrun.
How much is like normal for you to have as an overrun?
Yeah, so the most I've ever printed, I've never gone over 1,000 copies. Like in terms of like a bulk order, everything I've done has been under that. And depending on it kind of depends on if you're doing a first issue or like a one shot. Like I think a one shot or a standalone graphic novel, you want to kind of print as many as you can, because you'll have that forever, right? And you can keep selling that. It's an evergreen title that you can continue to sell, because you're not worried about, oh, well, they're only going to pick up this issue if they pick up the previous one. It's an easy sell. So I think that that's really important. Think about your print count in terms of what kind of book it is. And if it's an issue 1 or issue 2. I think as you go through your series, from 2 to 3 to 4, you can you don't necessarily have to print as many as issue 1, because some people just start there. But if your campaign does well enough and you can print more, definitely do it, because your margin's better that way. But I think for a lot of us, smaller guys, I think something around 1,000 or under, 500 to 1,000. I think that's fair. I think that's a good margin to keep, and just make sure that your price point makes sense for the book, and page count and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Again, I like to talk with the guests. I also like to pick their brains. Get some information.
For sure. Yeah. What about you? What have you found? What kind of quantity count are you looking at for your book?
Here. Let's see. I'll share my campaign since you asked.
Of course. Yeah, I'd love to pick your brain too.
Okay, well, this is my campaign. This is Heroic Tales. It's it's a blue sky superheroes, meaning it's a hopeful superhero story. I'm my favorite period read comics was like the 80s, so I'm trying to return to like, the good guys are good, the bad guys, they'll be sympathetic bad guys, but for the most part, the bad guys in this first issue are detestable.
Yeah.
And I got this glorious artwork by Renzo, but I have 128 backers, which I'm amazed, because I never. This is my first time. I'm proud.
That's
of it.
amazing. Yeah, great job.
Brand, and again, I'm on the least known crowdfunding site for comics.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm doing so. I got this cover by Pat Broderick. Who's just
that's awesome.
Yeah, Pat Broderick was one of my favorite comic book artists. So it was just great to have him draw it. And then this is the back cover. I didn't want to have an advertisement for the printing company. Nothing wrong with the printers, you know what I mean? But I only got one chance to make a first issue, and I wanted to have something that encapsulates everything about my comic. So the patriarch he's a superhero, he's a dad, he's a husband, he's a father, and all he wants to do is spend time with his family on the farm. But when you're a superhero with heightened senses, great power comes great responsibility. So
that's right.
Every moment that he keeps. These are all his kids. This is his wife down there in the purple. So it's a blue sky love letter to old superhero comics, and I got tired of the dads always being butt of the jokes in popular culture. So not that the wife.
Well, I really like his design. I think he looks really cool, and I love the purple. A lot of villains have purple, and so it's really cool to see a hero have purple and white. Like that's a great color combo. Yeah.
I'm taking the credit. I drew a real horrible picture, and I sent it to Renzo to draw, and I don't know. I've been playing role-playing games since I was a little kid, so I've been designing costumes.
Yeah.
I've been telling people, if you're making superheroes, simple and elegant is the best superhero costumes. Like,
yes.
And that came out of necessity. Jack Kirby didn't have much time to draw lines and pockets and everything all over his comics.
All the pouches.
All the pouches. Stuff. Like Spider-Man probably had the most, I don't want to say unnecessary lines because all that webbing was necessary, but Spider-Man had the most lines, but it worked. Where the Fantastic Four, Superman, Batman had as few lines as possible. So I'm trying to copy that. So I wanted to do as few lines as possible. And the purple and the white, because white, I wanted him to stand out. He's a good guy. And the purple's from the Roman Empire,
I like
that meme, all men think about the Roman Empire, and it's supposed to be the patriarch. He's manly. So I was like, yeah, of course he thinks about the Roman Empire. And then purple came from the Roman emperor himself. You know,
It's regal. There's a royalty to
history, it. So I was like, yeah, I want to employ it. That's why his symbol is the laurel wreath.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then if the interior art, you got to show the interior art. This was the first page Renzo showed me. This was the first drawing of the patriarch.
Wow, that's cool.
I sent him this crummy picture, and he sent me this. Awesome.
Yeah. No. In my other series, Manchild, we're working on issue 3 right now, and we're introducing 6 new villains into the story because the Monarch Crier is a superhero. He's a butterfly superhero in the book, and I wanted to, I mean, every hero is only good as their villains, right? And right. So something that I wanted to do was, create all these new cast of villains, and so I, doing the designs for them and drawing them up and coloring them and thinking of different ways. I was going through all of my like Marvel and DC encyclopedias and looking at different heroes and villains and kind of seeing how their designs worked and what their costumes were like. And putting that together is really exciting. It's some of the most fun that I've had in like making comics is doing that. Man, I love that page. That is beautiful.
Oh, this page?
Yeah, I love the cityscape, and especially that panel too, of like showing, like, it looks like he's having like some inner thoughts, or he can hear something.
Yeah, that's his senses.
That's so cool. I like that. I like that effect.
Yeah, I figured anybody who reads comics would get that's his senses. You know what I mean? Like the
yes. No, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he sees this car's driving off the cliff, and he's smiling because he's like, I finally get to go home.
Nice. Yeah.
I finally get to go home, and and of course the car. Now he's like, I'm going home, and then I made this coin for people to pick up.
Nice.
I'm crazy about coins. Oh, check your Instagram total. I think somebody's
or IGG total. Oh, Indiegogo. Did it go up? Maybe.
Yeah. Let me get your link again, and I'll put yours back up. I just lost control of everything. Stop. Let's.
Yeah, I'm really trying to hit 1,500. I would love to hit 1,500 soon, and we're almost there. We're getting.
Yeah, I would really like to hit 4,000 and open up the second stretch goal.
Yeah. All right, 1408. Yeah, we did go up by a backer. Oh, cool, Thank you so much.
Cool.
And amazing.
Mighty Kevin, good evening. My issue's coming soon. Did you back Kevin? Did you back? You got to back the comic to get it. He's my old roommate. I'm busting his chops. and David is one of the guys that we actually play role-playing games with. So
very cool.
I met him when I moved out here, so it's cool to see brand new friends. And, Kevin back. Thanks, Kevin. Cool. Me and I saw. Now I'm having a conversation with somebody. Yeah, I was really surprised to see Eddie. Kevin and Eddie used to play role-playing games when I was in college out in Albuquerque. So
okay.
I haven't seen in 20 years back in my comic. That's really cool. So, anything you want to say? Because I have comic book team up with Mark Polton and RJ from the Fourth Age at 8:30. So I'm gonna eat a quick dinner and then I'll be on 9:30 on Mandy Summers' channel. She's doing a show with Shane Davis, Pimp My Comic.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As much I love hosting and I love doing this. I love talking to people and I love picking brains of new creators. So this is a blast, but I also have to promote myself at the same time. So
you do, I've been
running myself right. Yesterday was like the first time I had nothing to do. It was so nice to come home from work. I went out in the backyard, picked up some sticks, clean it up, and then I actually sat and revised the script. Got rid of all the Renzo. His main language is Spanish, so I don't like to be any problems by typos. So I fixed all my spelling and everything like that, and finally sent them the script. So we're already working on issue 2. Is a long way around. I'm long-winded.
No, you're fine. Me too. And I think
we're both writers, so we're long-winded.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's gonna take us a minute to finish our thought, right?
You finish up here because.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you.
You got your hour. You got me selling my comic on your hour, but
no. I love seeing what other people are making, and I think it's really cool that you know, this is your first book and it's going really well. Like,
Yeah,
I
it is.
mean, congratulations. It looks
Yeah.
great.
Guys
And
at work, I was busting chops at work. Anytime anybody at work says something, you know, I'm a construction worker, so I got a million coworkers.
yeah,
We'll say something about electricity, and then that'll lean to this, and I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a comment, and I pull out a card. I got a card made with the UPC symbols because the guys at work don't know anything about crowdfunding.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, you know, so they scan it and it brings them to the site. You know, I try to make it easy to get people to buy my comic. You know.
Definitely. You
And
have
again,
to.
I said, you say whatever you want, and then I talked.
No. So anyways, you know, I think, you know, my goal is like, I definitely want to hit 50 backers if we can tonight or tomorrow. That's something that, and $1,500. You know, this is a book that, like I said, we're getting lettered right now. It's going to be, fulfilled hopefully in June or July,
Cool.
is the goal. So there's a really quick turnaround time for people who back it now. You know, I'm trying my best to get it as quickly as possible. I make sure I update backers on progress for the book and everything like that. So I'm always trying to be as transparent as possible. Like I said, I've done 5 or 6 other campaigns before this. They've all been fulfilled. So if you're like, ooh, can I trust this guy? You can definitely trust me. I've done this. I've been doing this for a while. And I'm really excited
with
about
a name
book.
like Nador Fox Schaefer. You got to be that's a trustworthy name.
Yeah,
you know, Bob Smith. You know, you can't find Bob Smith, but you could look up Nador Fox.
You can find me. Yeah, you can find me.
20 billion people. There's got to only be one Nador Fox.
Yes. So, you know, again, I just kind of want to emphasize and kind of reiterate that this is a story that is a character journey. It's a character study about a lone princess who is pregnant, who is on this quest to save herself and has to make impossible choices. And if you're a fan of, you know, just the art itself, like looking at Marco's art, if you want to see 46 pages of that beautiful artwork, you know, page after page, you know, you will not be disappointed. I think the artwork itself is worth the price of admission and getting the book. And you know, this is definitely, I'm always the most proud of my current project, my current story. And this is definitely, this is definitely the one I'm the most proud of because, you know, it is a one shot. It is a complete tale, but I'm hoping that people enjoy it and people want to see more of it and that we can really build something really special with this sci-fi fantasy universe that, you know, I put together like a 20 to 30 page visual document kind of how the world should look and the world building aspects of the book and in this world. And so seeing it come to life not only is satisfying, but I see so much more potential with it. And you know, if you're looking for a story that will challenge you and that will make you think, and that not only is, you know, an adventure, but that has a lot of depth to it. I always try to layer my stories and make them really engaging and interesting and mysterious. And, you know, I want you to get lost in it. So if you're looking for more comics like that, the Fabled Offering was made for you. So I really hope everyone will go check it out. We have a little under 3 weeks left, you know, just a couple weeks left. I am in my second 30 days on Indiegogo. So after, at the end of the month, it will be, the campaign will close. I probably will go in demand, but only while fulfillment is going on, just in case I get a couple stragglers. But the campaign will close soon, so I really recommend everyone, you know, to pick up what variant covers you want and to you know, support great comics.
Do either of you use World Anvil? I don't know what that is, so obviously I don't use it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is either. I wonder if it's like maybe like a world building prompter or something.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
My world came from playing role-playing games with Kevin and Dave and my friend Jimmy for since I was 14 years old. So,
yeah.
So I use plastic dice and loose leaf.
I like that. No, I just have a notebook. I just write notes down and I just think of cool things that I want to see.
Yeah. Well, you got another backer as we were talking. I just backed.
Oh, thank you so much, John.
Yeah,
it means a lot to me, man.
And I'm gonna close this out. I'm gonna have my dinner because this is the only break I got till bedtime. So
all right, man.
But it's good to see you, man. Hey, come back. You know, come back when you got another campaign. Come back in a couple of months. Let's
I would love to. Yeah. We can totally talk more. Thanks so much for having me, man.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. And I'll see you at 8:30, same channel with comic book team up with Mark Bolton and RJ. And then 9:30 over at Mandy Summers with Shane Davis and myself. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.